G'day, Bomber fans. Well, footy tomorrow night. Quality primetime footy. This could get ugly. I think fans are starting to realise now just how bad the Bombers are, and they'll, continue to round out this season being a pretty bad team. Is that an issue? Go check out my recent Q&A video if you want that discussion. I think this is pretty clearly, Essendon in its bottoming out era, and unfortunately the next month or so will get pretty brutal. I can also almost guarantee you that we're going to see some really bad games of footy, but I can also guarantee you that we're going to see some good glimpses out of it. I don't think it's going to be all doom and gloom. I think a lot of it will be, though. So yeah, it starts this Thursday against the Giants at Marvel. Let's chat about the Jake Stringer Cup, but first some votes from the Richmond disaster class. Tough to find votes. Archie Roberts got the most combined with 5, followed by Jordan Ridley and Zach Merritt. Kako was the role player for both of us. I actually think he's been pretty good lately, but yeah, not a great week for votes. The overall tally, Merritt's on 31, Martin is on 26, but of course, he won't play another game for the rest of the year. It was looking like he was a genuine contender. Now, unfortunately, he won't poll again. Durham and Dersma are closing in on that second spot if they can stay fit. Obviously, Caldwell won't. You've got Nate Caddy equal with Reed, who's also out for the season. Archie Roberts jumps into the top 10 ahead of Setterfield and Wright. Keep up the votes. Alrighty, Essendon against GWS. The Bombers are in free fall. We are losing games of footy left, right and centre. Our most recent game was a proper stinker against the Tigers. GWS, they are, they're genuinely cooking. They beat the Cats. They beat the Lions at the Gabba a few weeks back. They beat the Suns. They're genuinely one of the form teams of the comp, I think. They're 7th on the ladder, equal 4th on points. It's pretty clearly a very good team going up against a very not good team. I'll let you guys decide which, what of the teams is which. I think we're around $8 to win this game, which is probably the worst odds we've had hosting an interstate team in a long time. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, this is the start of a very tough run of games for the Bombers. We play GWS tomorrow night. We then play the Dogs next Friday. Then the much improved Swans at the SCG. And then it's the Cats at Cardinia, which I don't think I'll enjoy watching footy that weekend. But yeah, those are the next 4 games. I think we are going to struggle. It's going to be a struggle to watch these games. And like I said with Richmond, I'm not fussed about wins or losses. I think if you're looking at any rebuilding team through a result lens, you're missing the point. But there is stuff that I think the club really does need to improve on to give me more hope for the future. This game may well get ugly, but it doesn't mean it isn't a game worth watching or thinking about. This is a crucial stage of our development for the future. But before we talk about that, let's just have a think about how bad Thursday could get. So the Giants are starting to build a really strong run of form at a great time. This is the time of the year where you want to be winning games of footy and getting players into form. Early in the year, there were struggles, but now guys like Cadman and Grant and Jake Stringer as well, they're getting things going. There are serious weapons in that team. A fair few of them will be rested. Teams know that they can get an easy win against the Dons while resting stars. So Jesse Hogan won't play, Kelly won't play, Sam Taylor, my boy, won't be playing. They've still got stars everywhere, though. In the back half, you've got Lockie Whitfield, Lockie Ash, Jack Buckley is awesome. You move up the field and you've got Finn Callaghan and Tom Green, Toby up forward, Jake Stringer. Realistically, aside from Merritt, there are probably about 9 to 10 players at the same level as our second or third best player tomorrow night for the Giants. Their top-end talent is just so much better than ours. There are quite a few players in that team who can just rip a game apart. And then you look at the way they play. It is perfectly suited for a Marvel game against Essendon. We're clearly, a bit all over the place, and that is understandable. No need to really keep complaining about that. But yeah, we're a mess. And the Giants are a team who can really get on top of bad sides and move the footy through the middle of the ground. The Orange Tsunami is what it's called. It is real. There is proper speed out of the back half. They're a really hard team to defend when they're flowing. It's a very strong side, GWS. I think we're maybe underestimating them this year because they're not at the level they were last year. But in my eyes, they're probably, in the top 5 or 6 teams in the comp. They're high scoring. Their last 4 games have all been over 100 despite being against good teams. Yeah, I think we're probably going to see them restrict us going forward. They'll almost certainly win out of the midfield, and I think defending them could be a real tough ask as well. I think across all 3 lines, all 3 zones, they are just better this weekend, this year. So yeah, hard to really tip the Bombers. I think for me, it's really easy to look at this game, look at the wins-loss column and everything, and the result and the margin. I think the most important thing in this game is for the club to continue to be building on their game plan. So funnily enough, and thank you for Ian Hume for this stat, the Don the Stat is an amazing podcast, but this is telling. So Essendon against Richmond averaged 17.2 metres gained per disposal with an inside 50 every 6.3 disposals. For the season, we averaged 14.5 metres gained per disposal and an inside 50 for every 8.2 disposals. So we actually were going above average in those metrics, which is, ball movement metrics. And those numbers are also being bumped up lately as well. They were a lot lower to start the year. So we've actually been a much more direct team, which kind of goes against what we see on screen. And I think that's why a lot of the time it is, I don't know, it's interesting. It kind of shows the main issue is synergy, players not being connected on field, making our ball use look worse despite being more direct than usual. So my message to Scott and his crew is to keep trying it. It's probably not going to work. Fans will probably hate it. Direct ball movement, there'll be heaps of turnovers, heaps of skill errors, but you don't get anything by going backwards and sideways all game. We may lose by more, like we did with the Dogs. If you remember that game, we lost by a lot because we were taking the game on to our own detriment. We could have parked the bus and protected the scoreboard, but we didn't. I want that same vibe back. If we're trying to implement a game plan that'll hold up in the future, but our synergy and cohesion is just not there, that is okay. That'll change as these players play more footy together. It might result in a bigger loss. It probably will result in a bigger loss because there'll be more turnovers in bad areas. But I would much rather us see, try and take something out of these games than just simply play, to round out the year. Because that is not what the club should be doing right now. We shouldn't be playing for results. We should be playing to build a sustainable brand and style and trying to win games that way. But not taking away from our game plan to win games of footy. That's what I think. And yeah, honestly, I'm just kind of hoping the boys turn up. I know for a fact that there are morale issues at the club. There are some that are just really unhappy with what's been happening lately. You've got your mates who you play footy with, the sport that you love, and then you can't for a long time with them. That's happening every week now. I'm not expecting the Bombers to turn up. But the thing that us fans have to remember is that there is a difference between effort and quality. So I think the bare minimum that we can ask for as a fan in this game is effort. If there is a clear lack of effort, I think we will all be very mad. That is just never excusable. There's never a time where effort, is a waning effort doesn't, matter. But effort doesn't just equate to quality. If the boys try hard, it doesn't mean they go out and win the game or look like a better team. It would be cool for the Giants to be spooked. If we've got a rampant, tackling machine pressure, and we're really hard at the contest. If those numbers are even, but the scoreboard isn't, that at least shows that the boys are giving it a crack, but not really getting anything out of it. I think for us to get close in this game, we've obviously got to give a crap. That goes without saying. I think the Giants need to be having a bit of a down day. There needs to be some luck on our side. But I think the best way to beat the Giants is to really load up with good defensive midfielders around the middle of the ground, good two-way runners, stem their ball movement, try and kill them on the counter-attack when they counter-attack, kind of like a Uno reverse. If they run in waves down the middle of the ground, they neglect defense. So any turnovers could be really costly to them. And of course, we'd need to be really efficient and effective, which is tough to imagine. But yeah, it's at least easier under the roof. But for me, I'm looking at young players and how they link up, because there's just not really a lot there right now. Like, you've got a forward line that is spearheaded by two mid-season draftees when Wright is rucking. You've got a defence with a ruckman as a key back. You've got Laverty's the other. You've got Lawal on the wing, who just isn't ready for a game like this. You could say the same about Sardis and the Guts. I could go on, but what I'm trying to say is that this team is not ready to be playing a top 4 contender, but it has to. So that is going to be interesting, just seeing how it stacks up against the Giants this weekend. This is 100% a match where a valiant effort and honourable loss is real. Like, you can't be upset if we look good. We're playing good footy where things are clicking, but it doesn't click for 4 quarters. Because realistically, we shouldn't be winning this game. I look at the predicted 23 that I've got on screen, and there are 5 or 6 proper ready-made best 23 footballers in our team. The rest are players that we are developing for the future, or stopgaps for injured players. So not good. Speaking of the team situation, more pain. We've got Nick Martin out, Setterfield out, Caddy out, and Hobbs out. The only silver lining here is that we have another debutant. Liam McMahon will play his first game for the club. That is the 13th debutant this year, equaling the AFL record for a non-expansion team. That is it's pretty crazy when you think about it. There are some teams this year who haven't even made one debut. We've got 13. So Caddy is replaced by McMahon. I assume Perkins comes in for Setterfield, and Sard El Hawley comes in for Martin. Gresham for Hobbs, I'm guessing. It's hard to really make too many changes. Like, ideal world, we're bringing out Lawal or someone for one of these players, but with injuries, it's hard to justify because, I know there'll be some frustrated about players returning, like Perkins, Gresham, these guys. There aren't many options right now, unfortunately. The VFL recap will be a quick video this week because there are about 4 or 5 players playing. Dylan Shields a good chance to come in, and after, Guelphy as well, and after that it's tough. There's, I think 3 more debutants and no one else. So yeah, just look at all the names on the on the left there on screen. That kind of tells the tale. As for the Giants, they're resting players. They're knowing they can get the easy win. Hogan is rested. Kelly is rested. Taylor is being left another week. I think Jacob Ware comes in. Max Grzeski maybe. James League. I don't know. It's lots of changes for both these teams. We'll find out tonight what's happening. But let's get to the prediction. Who's going to win this game of footy? Okay, I don't think the Bombers are going to win. I'm going to be honest with you there. I'm not going to completely rule out a close game. I think for the rest of the season, we will at least, once or twice show signs, whether it's for a full game or a few quarters. I think we will match it with teams on occasion to round out the year. But I just doubt it happens for enough of this game for the Dons to get it done. I think the Giants win. I think they win comfortably. I'm going to say GWS by 40 points. As I said, I'm not going into this game thinking that we should win. I know some of you won't like that. To some it's complacency. I think I'm just being realistic. We're a lot worse than the Giants. The home ground advantage might help a little bit. If this was being played away, I'd be looking at triple figures. But at Marvel, I just think we're going to see a pretty dysfunctional team out there, and we kind of just have to look at the positives that come out of it, unfortunately. Obviously, the negatives too. We'll look at both. We won't shy away from that. But in usual games, most teams would go off wins and losses. I'm not going to be doing that. And I wasn't even doing that against the Tigers, as I said. It wasn't the loss that bothered me. It was the way we played. I get that it is hard for the club to really play with any chemistry and synergy at the moment, but it would be good to come out of this game with something positive to say, unlike last week. So yeah, I'm predicting a comfortable GWS win. Jake Stringer probably kicks 20 goals and pulls out a big celebration to the fans. But that is that. Cheers for watching, Bomber fans. Preview done. Hopefully on Friday when the review is out, we've got something more positive to take from this game. I think the effort, some of the boys are actually putting in, they deserve a bit of a reward. I know it doesn't look like it with the results, but there are quite a few players out there really giving it as much as they can. And I think before the year ends, they deserve to be, to have that team song. I doubt it happens this week, but weirder things have happened. So yeah, that is all. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as always, go Bombers.